Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk Live. My name's Toni. It is Thursday, April 16th and 3 o'clock, so it is time to get started. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into some expectations. This is an interactive webinar, and I want to say thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. On the screen in front of you, there's 3 different ways that you can interact with both our guest and myself today. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a Q&A button on your side that you can send questions through for either myself or Toni, our guest that we're going to have on in just a few minutes. This webinar is going to be recorded, and I know that we're going to have some people joining us over the next several minutes, and I'll keep reminding you throughout the webinar that it is recorded and will be posted within the next 24 hours on yourtechhub.com. So if you'd like to take a photo of this screen that's in front of you, that way you can go ahead and find this recording. And then also we meet every single Thursday at 3 o'clock. We have some exciting guests that I'm going to tell you about over the next several weeks. Towards the end of our 30 minutes we're going to be spending together, because without further ado, we're going to jump right into our quick updates for today, our quick tech updates. I have 2 for you, all centered around our designs applet. So I'm going to switch our screens here. And Kim's saying hi to Toni there. And what I'm going to do is I'm switching screens. There's one other way for you to interact with us throughout this webinar. You'll also have an option to raise your hand. So if you can see command on the screen in front of you, do me a favor and click the raise your hand button on your side of the screen if you can see. Hey, Paul, Kim, Rachel, Matthew, DJ, Ronnie, Mike, Ron, Catherine. Wow. Okay, that was Julie. I just saw Julie, Christina. So many hands just raised. Okay, so you guys are looking at command. We're going to dive in and take a look in our designs applet. And I have 2 quick updates for you. The first is how to make designs work for you even faster. A small little bit of setup before you get started with the designs applet will save you a lot of time over the course of making various templates and designs to advertise your business. Over here on the left, I'm actually going to click on the red KW logo in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to click right here on designs. Now, we're going to get started today with some new social templates, and on our way to access these new templates, I'm going to show you that little pit stop and where you can have a time saver by building your library, or what we call your brand kit. In the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to get started by creating a new design by clicking on the blue plus button in the bottom right corner, and I'm going to choose social right here in the center. Here are all of the design options that we have. After choosing social, I'm going to press the next button, and that's going to take me into the designs application where I'll see all of our templates and the categories on the left-hand side. And there's that new category that we were going to highlight today, the pivot shift ahead. So there's 5 new images that were added here. If you're looking at meeting backgrounds, they're also here under this pivot shift ahead category and Instagram. And you're going to see some fun new social advertisements that you can give for no device activities for kids, quick tips for budgeting wisely. The only thing that you'll need to change on any of these designs is your DBA logo, and maybe even customizing the color to match your own brand. Now, here's the quick pit stop that I want to share with you that's going to be a huge time saver as you're learning to use designs and continuing to use them. In the upper right corner, you'll see this little red library button with a little plus. I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to add to my library all of the most common things that I use. That means the details. I have my name, my DBA, so this is my doing business as, my brokerage name to make sure that I'm I'm Florida compliant with our state marketing rules. My email, my website, my address location. Same thing as I'm going through, some common text. This is where you're going to get really the time saving, taking your headshot and making sure that you have your headshot uploaded here. You might have multiple versions. You can have 4 of your most frequently used images saved here to your library. The same thing goes for logos. So for example, I have my Market Centers Doing Business As logo right here. And I also create a lot of content in designs on behalf of the North Florida Regional Office. So that means because I'm using both of those Doing Business As logos, I want to have them both saved here in my brand kit. I can save up to 4 logos. So I'm going to click right here on this little plus button. And I'm going to upload from my computer the North Florida Regional Office logo. I click open, and I'm going to add that to my library. The last tab that you're going to see here is your brand kit. This is where you can take those unique colors that you want to match all of your marketing, and you can click through and start to customize. Orange is one of my favorite colors. So if I wanted my branding to match orange and stay consistent, I can use that color code and make sure that I'm always using the exact shade of orange on all of my marketing materials. As soon as you're done building your brand kit there, you can click the X to close out, and then you can open up one of your designs, and that's where the time-saving tips is going to go into play. I'm going to click right here on this 5 ways to help those in the COVID-19 front lines and click the Use button. I'm highlighting this because our company's celebrating Red Day coming up in just a month. It's a really important day for our company and giving back to our community. This is a great example that you can start, because I know a lot of your market centers are doing projects to help benefit people on the front lines of defending from COVID-19. This is a great advertisement that you could use to highlight that for your market center, for your Red Day, or for your business. So right here, I have my library. My images, my text, my icons, my logos. I'm going to click right here on logos, and I'm going to replace this logo with the North Florida Regional Office. So over here on the left, I have the North Florida Regional Office logo that I just saved. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag this over. And notice as I start to hover over that logo, it will replace it by me simply letting go. I can click the corners to resize it. And now I've just updated our logo. The last thing is, maybe this blue doesn't match your brand kit. Maybe you're wondering how you can use those saved shades and colors that you have. I can click on any of these text elements, and in the top center here, if I hover my cursor over that blue color, it says fill color and shows me the color code. I can press right here in the center, and instead of going through the template colors, I can choose library colors, switch from the default palette to my library colors, and here are all of those colors that I saved, that orange that we just created, so I can quickly make sure that I'm always using the same shade on every single design that we make. That design template, that little plus button with a library before you get in, is a huge time saver, so please take a few minutes to complete your brand kit so that you can start building these templates and sharing them with your community through social media and through your print design marketing. I'm going to click done in the upper right-hand corner and save to come out of this. There's those 5 new templates. And I'm going to switch back over into our screen, because I'm going to actually ask our guest, Miss Toni, to go ahead and, I think Toni's out there. If you want to go ahead and turn on your camera and unmute your microphone, we are going to welcome the main stage event today, Miss Toni Zarghami from Sarasota. Toni, how are you doing?
Hey, Toni, I'm well. Did I unmute and do my camera correctly?
You do. I can see you on my end. Maybe we can do this. We'll test all of our friends at home. If you guys can see Toni and you guys can see that slide back on your side of the screen, you already know what to do. There's your raise your hand button. Awesome. So Toni, welcome to the call. Thank you so much for being here and sharing with us today. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and the Zarghami Group?
I would love to, and I want to say thank you for having me, and also thank you, Toni, for everything that you're doing with technology and bringing us these tools and tips. It's amazingly helpful, so thank you for everything that you're doing, and thanks for having me today. My husband and I run a team. Absolutely. My husband and I run a team down in Sarasota in Manatee County. We're a small but mighty team of 12, and I actually just pulled some numbers this morning. Since January 1st of last year, we've closed 202 transactions for just about $60 million in production. So it's kind of my stats.
Wow, that is incredible.
Thank you.
That is huge. And, I know that your business strategies, when we first started, the world started to change. We weren't allowed to go outside as often anymore. And we had to take some common lead generation strategies that we were using in our business. And I know that you had one in particular that your team was using before that you quickly pivoted to start safely holding houses open virtually.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think our team was plugging along like I think a lot of teams were doing things the way that always worked, and we had a certain level of success with that. And then you can't really go outside and show houses and do open houses hit, and we're like, now what do we do? Open houses was a big part of our business and where we got leads from, and so we had to figure out fairly quickly a way to pivot and do something different. So yeah, that's exactly what we did.
And I love this because so many agents just like that. We recognize I have a lead generation strategy. Last week, we talked to the Irons team and they were talking about virtual home buying workshops. That was a lead generation strategy that they pivoted to switch. For you, it was going to be open houses. Now, when certain agents hear virtual open house, I myself, there are many different ways to execute a virtual open house. And I recognize right off the bat that you had a really unique practice. And I know that you were going to be able to share that with us. Would you mind showing us one of your open houses to kind of kick this off?
I would be happy to. So on my screen, I just see the kind of banner that you've put and I see your picture. So if I share, tell me if I'm doing this correctly. If I share here, click share.
I think if I stop. Awesome. There we go. So I just saw we are now seeing your screen.
Can you see that?
I see it. We see your virtual open houses. Awesome.
And this is a really good segue because when I heard virtual open houses, I heard that another team was doing it. And you see me, I'm fumbling through this. I'm not the most tech savvy, so it kind of overwhelmed me. Like, how in the world am I going to do something like this? But we figured it out. So what I just want to give you, the confidence. If you're a little bit like me, like it seems like a lot, it's not. We can all do it together. So I thought I'd share with you. This is about a 3-minute video, the virtual open house that I fumbled through, and then we can kind of chat about it on the other end. Does that work?
I think that's perfect. And while you're pulling this video up to press play, I just want to give a quick friendly reminder to those of you who might have joined us after the first few minutes. There's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you have any questions for Toni or myself. And this call is being recorded and will be posted within the next 24 hours, including some links and timestamps down below to help you find the content working for you faster. So everything's recorded. Toni, why don't you go ahead and get us started with this video?
Thanks, Donnie. Here we go. We'll chat about it on the other end. Hey friends, Toni Zarghami coming from you live again from my living room this time. I got such a great response to our virtual open house that we did yesterday that I thought I'd do another one. A lot of us are working from home, maybe checking some things out online. So even if you're not in the market to buy a home, I thought it might be a fun time to maybe tour some properties that we have here in Florida. Abe, you want to come say hi? Come here, come say hi. My little assistant is working with me today too. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Good job. So today...
Mom, can I use the computer?
Daddy wants you to use his computer. He's calling you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daddy. So today we're going to preview a super cool property that we have for sale over in Rio Mar. This is 3702 67th Terrace East, and I want to share this one with you. This property is actually a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 3-car garage, and it has a den as well. So not only do we have 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, we have a den as well, which is really cool. So I thought I'd take you inside, take a look around this one. The great thing I love about this floor plan is that unlike a lot of houses in Florida and in our area, the bedrooms are all upstairs, which is a little different. Over in this corner, we do have the den, which has double doors that go outside. I'll show you guys the view as well. There is not a closet in this room, so it's not technically one of the bedrooms, but pretty cool to have the bedrooms upstairs. It's not something you see often. It's also not a split floor plan. So a lot of families we work with, how a lot of our floor plans are the masters over here and the kiddos are way over here. This one's very different. Everything is upstairs together, so I'll show you that, except for the great office downstairs. One of the things I really love about this property too is the unobstructed lake view in the back. There's a preserve behind you here, so no one will ever build over there, which is really nice. The owners of this home did not want a pool, and yet if you want to extend your lanai out, you absolutely can put a pool back there. So really private area. There's the staircase that goes upstairs. Really tall ceilings in this one too, which is a big hot button for a lot of people. So let's jump upstairs and take a look around. I don't know where in the world we just ended up. Go to the dollhouse. There we go. This is a cool way to look around and take a look at things. So we pop in here. This is the master bedroom. The master actually has a sitting room, which is up front. And then if you swerve around here, it swerves around to the master bedroom, which is huge. It also has the huge the huge ensuite bathroom and closet. And then it's got its own private balcony with a kitchen out here. So it's got water, electric. You can put your coffee maker out here, enjoy your morning coffee or your afternoon, whatever it is you do in the afternoon. So we'll pop back in here to the master. Let me show you the floor plan on this one. So this is the upstairs. The master's here. And like I said, all of the bedrooms are upstairs. If we look at this view and how it shakes out, that's how the second floor looks. And this is how the first floor looks. So again, if you have any questions or wanted to take a look at this property, please feel free. This is actually, I apologize, there is one of the bedrooms downstairs. Anyone else have a Peloton? Look at Pam's Peloton. David and I are Peloton riders. If you have any questions about this property or want to do a more in-depth tour, please feel free to give me a call. I can answer any questions that you have. If you guys are liking these virtual open houses, give me a thumbs up and let me know. If there's a certain kind of property you want to see, let me know. We've got some great luxury waterfront properties. We've got some super cute condos on the market right now. So let me know what you want to see, and I'll catch up with you next time. Have a great day, everybody.
Wow, that was awesome.
Thank you.
It was great. You know what I immediately took away from that? I got your personality. It was personable. I love that your daughter came in. It reminded me of that great news clip from a couple of years ago where the daughter came into the back and then everyone was coming in. Yeah. It was real because what I just saw there, I'm seeing on Zoom calls all day long.
Mm-hmm. The one thing and the reason I chose that one to show you is, I don't know if you guys recognized it, but there are about 87 mistakes in that. Like I said, all the bedrooms were upstairs and then, oh, there is a bedroom downstairs. And I said terraced instead of terrace for the address. And so all of those mistakes happened. And that was the second one I had done. And the feedback that I got is just what you said, Donnie. It makes you kind of real and relatable. And so one thing I want to let everybody know, if you're thinking about doing any kind of virtual anything, just go do it. Like, don't worry about making mistakes. Don't do 700 takes and make it take your entire afternoon. That literally took me about 7 minutes from the time I hit record to the time it was posted on my Facebook. So, and I wanted to show you that mistakes are kind of fun. They're kind of part of it.
So 7 minutes from starting to record and posting it on Facebook. Let's just rewind for a second and talk about what it would take to do an open house in, I'm just going to refer to it in the normal world. In pre-COVID-19, I was driving out, putting out signs several hours. I was sitting in the house for 2 to 3 hours. And then I was celebrating having 10 or 15 guests come through, sometimes 5 guests. That was a win for me. I'm walking out of open house thinking, I saw 5 guests today. That was amazing. How many people do you think are seeing this 7 minute times that you invested? How many people are watching this open house?
Yeah, no, I can actually tell you, we've had over 4,000 views on that video.
Wow.
4,000. And so what I did is someone asked a question how to do it. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. We shared it through all of our social media. I had my whole team share it. My mom shared it. All my aunts shared it. The seller of the house, she shared it. And they have a community Facebook group. She put it in there. So that one open house has generated over 4,000 views. And we actually got that property under contract a few days ago. And the cool thing was my seller's a little nervous about people in our house right now. So one of the ways we pre-qualify everyone is they have to watch that video and make sure that they're really interested in that property.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that gives it gives such a great picture of the property that it is a pre-qualification. I think that's awesome that we can give that extra layer of security to the seller. I also love, what does the conversation look like with your seller for some agents? Because I've heard people before, do I want to ask my seller to post this for me? What does that conversation look like with your sellers?
Yeah, so this seller, she's definitely into social media technology. She's got a pretty big following. She's around my age. And so I brought it up to her. I said, Pam, because it was, again, with the second one I had done, I said, I think we're trying this new thing. We're kind of pivoting. Would you be okay if I did one for your house? And do you mind sharing it with all of your friends and family? Because again, we don't know who knows who might be looking for a house. And they were totally up for it. I think sellers appreciate it because we're doing something new and different because we're adapting to this new and different market that we're in. So I've probably done, a handful, a dozen at this point, and every seller has been really excited that we're proactively doing something different.
Yeah, well, because at the same time, if you were holding an open house, you would be asking the seller to invite people to the open house for you. It's the same conversation. Now you're just inviting them to the online version instead of being in person.
Yeah,
I see a lot of really great questions coming through, Toni, and I want to make sure that we get to those. So before we do, I want to share something that you sent with me because just like last week, Toni brought to the table the Zarghami group. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Available for you all today, beyond. So I see a lot of questions. We're going to start going through those and talking about these details. But when you are looking at the recording tomorrow, below the video, there's going to be a link for you to download this 9-step to an open house, virtual open house process that Toni has brought to the table and is giving to all of you to take home. So please, please, please click that raise your hand button for a round of applause for Ms. Toni Zarghami as bringing this to the table. And now as we're going through, I want to go and hit some of the highlights. I've heard a lot of questions here about, first, what are you using?
Yeah, great question. We have a Zoom. I have a Zoom. What's the word I'm looking for? A Zoom
Pro account?
Account. Thank you. No, I don't even know if it's a pro one. An account.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, there you go.
Flew right out of my head.
Hey,
Yeah.
when you're doing an open house in 7 minutes, you're underneath that 40 mark. You can use the Zoom free account.
Yeah, so I just used my Zoom account, and what I did is I clicked record on my Zoom account, and I just started recording this video. I've made it like a necessity that unless I completely mess something up or a swear word comes out of my mouth by mistake, I'm not doing any more than one take, right? So I literally just hit record on my Zoom account, and then I share my screen, just like Donnie, you and I have been doing today. And then when I'm done with the recording, I finish recording, I save it to my desktop, and I jump onto Facebook, and I upload it on Facebook with a cute little clip about something. And that's how I've done it. I know I was actually on a panel last week or the week before, and some people are doing Facebook Live, which is amazing. Some people are doing watch parties, which is amazing. This is just the method I chose to do it because I can do it from home. It doesn't take a ton of time, and it seems to be working for us.
And you know what's cool is with your video recording here, you could actually still do those Facebook watch parties. You could add on those elements over time. It's when we're all pivoting and we're talking about, I'm going to use the words failing forward, owning mistakes, and just moving onward, because this is what we have to do. These are important activities. You could also be able to layer in those as well. I had a really good question that just came through.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm so sorry. I can't see the screen, and I can just see my how to record a virtual open house. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sure.
But I wanted to let you guys know, I know we do Matterports on most of our listings. So all of our active listings that we already had Matterports. But if you don't have those, it's totally okay. You can just scroll through the pictures. I've done one where we didn't have a Matterport, where you click on the map function in the MLS and show them where it's located in the city. So don't feel like you have to have a Matterport to do that. You can share your screen and show them whatever you want to do this virtual open house.
That was one of the questions that just came through. It's Matterport. I've seen people go through the photos on the MLS. There's a lot of really creative ways that you can get that done.
Yes.
Another big concern that we have when we're doing a virtual open house, so we talked about it, we have 1,000 views, and we used to view it as guests. Now, when I had 5 people coming through, I could walk out of the open house celebrating. I captured 5 new leads because I got those contact details. 1,000 views versus 5 leads. What are you doing, or how are you focusing on capturing their contact details? Or what does lead capture look like in a virtual open house?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And the answer is I don't quite know, to be honest with you. But what I do know is what's happened from these is I get a lot of private messages like, hey, I noticed you did that virtual open house that's actually in my neighborhood. I mean, I'm not looking to buy or sell, but can you help me with this? And so we don't have a lead capture like on some websites we have. You've got to put in your name and phone number and email, and we get that. I don't have that on any of these. I know just proactively people have reached out to me from them. And so it's great because I think it's really good for our sellers to see that we're doing something proactive, but also for our team, it's definitely generating some interest and some conversations that are happening. I don't have a direct lead capture way from the way I'm doing it.
And it might not be a direct lead capture way, but something that I heard earlier, just for everyone out there, you are purposely distributing this in your community and through ways that you are already naturally involved. So through these community pages in a Facebook where you have the ability to see who's commenting and interact with them and turn around and private message them afterwards or invite them to a private message, some sort of call to action if there is a conversation that goes any further.
Yeah, when I was on the panel last week, someone had said you can post it and then host a watch party to watch it because then you're right there and you can answer people's questions and things like that. So I am confident there is a way to do this more high tech and with better lead capture than I'm doing it, for sure.
So Simone just asked if we could go over the program. We're going to hand out this 9-step process that Zoom is the program would use for free, and you'd be able to complete these 9 steps to both save that video and get it posted. Once that MP4 file is downloaded, once you have, that video download, you really can put that anywhere you'd like. If it's YouTube, I noticed that you have a page dedicated on your website that you were able to do that. Through command social advertisements, you can upload your own video and do a social ad around if you wanted to put some marketing dollars behind this. This is a really good question. Have you found any best practices around video length? So you've hosted a few. Are they growing in time, shrinking in time? What does that look like?
Yeah, I actually have done my best to keep them all under 4 minutes. And so it just depends on I just recorded one right before this because my hair and makeup was done. So I did another one. And that was just vacant land. And so that one's going to be probably 2 minutes or less. So my goal is to keep them under 4 minutes. It's just That's just what I've decided. I don't know why that is, but it seems to get enough people watching the whole thing that 4 minutes seems to work.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. So 4 minutes. DJ just asked, are you posting any of these to YouTube as well?
That's a great question. I don't think that I am, and I'm going to write that down right now. We do have a YouTube page. Post to YouTube. Thank you, DJ.
Awesome. So Melanie just said that she loved your daughter's input. How do you manage any, or have you received any potential objections when you're hosting the virtual open house? Let's take a look this way. I'm going to reframe that. When somebody sees the virtual house and they say, I'd like to go see it, or have you encountered any objections with the virtual open house where people aren't willing to go?
Yeah, no, we really haven't yet. So we are aware of them. And I think when we're using it, I represent the seller in these, right? So we're really using it to pre-qualify these buyers before you're going into someone's property. Have you seen the 3D tour? Have you seen our virtual open house? Can we see your pre-qualification letter? So we've not, knock on wood, had many objections at this point.
Awesome, I love it. So those questions are coming through. Toni, I want to say thank you as we're starting to wrap up our time here together today. I want to ask for just one quick final thought. As I'm starting to switch the screen back over here, for those agents out there that might be thinking to themselves, they're nervous to get on camera, they're nervous to get started, or maybe they don't know where the best place to start with this virtual open house. You gave us these great 9 easy steps. What's something that you would leave as a final thought? What's the best action item somebody could take away from today?
Yeah, I would say, guys, just please go ahead and do one. If you don't have a ton of listings, talk to your ALC or talk to some top producers in your office and say, hey, do you have anything I could hold open? I know that we've had people that have done like multiple open houses. So 1 listing and 4 people have done a virtual open house for it, which is great. It's great for the seller. It's great for getting the word out there. It's great for people to be hearing Keller Williams and getting this out on social media. So my goal would be to just go do it. Don't overthink it. Embrace your mistakes. Let your daughter walk into the video and still post it, right? Because if you do it over and over, you're going to get in your own head. So I would make a goal to just go do one and see how it turns out. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at the feedback that you get.
I love it. Just get started. We have to just get over that fear and start.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. A few last things as we're wrapping up here. Toni, if you don't mind sticking around for just 1 second. We do this every Thursday, like I mentioned before. This call was recorded. They're always recorded and posted on your TeK Hub within the next 24 hours. Next Thursday, I have Cassandra Van that's joining us from KW Lakeland, talking about the consumer experience and how she's leveraging Command and the consumer platforms that are available through Keller Williams right now. And then at the end of the month here on the 30th, we're going to have Sarah Rocco and the Director of Operations for the Rocco Group from KW Jacksonville, talking about what it looks like to move her team into Command and how they're functioning inside of Command as a team. Right before we, last thing I want to leave you guys with is some support resources if you are experiencing with Command, that question mark in the upper right-hand corner. And then a huge thank you to Toni. If you guys could do me a favor and give her a virtual round of applause by clicking those raise your hand buttons one more time. Lots of value came down on today's call with that giveaway. I want to say, Toni, again, thank you for being here and for sharing with us all today.
Anytime.
And thank you all for tuning in and joining. I hope to see you guys next week back here for TeK Talk Live at 3 o'clock on Thursday. Have an awesome week, everyone. Stay safe.